saw somebody else do one of these videos first. Probably multiple people have at this point, but I actually found it when I was like just passing time over the weekend, in one of the downtimes when there was nothing I could actually do. See the vlog before this one if you missed that whole drama. But I was looking through my analytics pages and seeing what videos lead to my channel from other channels, and one of them was somebody ranking the Beatles album covers, and I realized, that's a video I should do. This is not ranking the Beatle albums. I already did that video. I did that video years ago, so do not mix it up for that. We are ranking this on nothing but the album covers themselves and the order in which I think they go in, at least in my opinion. I'm sure you will probably disagree, and we can all agree to disagree. If you have a different order you'd like to share, leave it in the comments, because I find it fascinating, the different orders of how people would rank them. I actually asked both of my parents. I actually shuffled up the CDs, handed it to each of them separately, and saw what order they'd put them in. Just out of curiosity, and they both came up with different answers to each other, and both were different to mine. My mom's were very close to mine, but she had some very surprising shifts on hers that I was like, really? And she looked at mine, she was like, huh, okay, I would have done this different if you're going with that, but, you know, like I said, we can all agree to disagree. My dad's were, like, very, very different. I was like, whoa, okay, didn't see that coming. So, like I said, if you have a different order you'd put them in, totally leave it in the comments. This is a shame-free zone. I just, totally curious. So we're gonna start from worst and go to best. So it comes as no surprise that the position of the worst album cover, in my opinion, goes to the White Album. Sorry, by default, it's this guy. It's literally just a white cover with the Beatles written on it. Merch of this has been sold. They have no problem jacking the price of a plain white t-shirt, selling it and calling it a White Album shirt. That is some serious bullshit. Same with like all the other merch I've seen them sell of it, and it drives me crazy. It drives me fucking crazy. I'm like, there should not be merch of the White Album cover. It should not be. It's nothing, it's just white. It's just white. Anyway, yeah, that goes for worst cover. Not worst album, worst cover. So, that aside. Moving up one position from that, I actually was on the fence with the next two and kept flip-flopping them back and forth, but I think the next one for me would have to be Please Please Me. Now, this isn't terrible by any means, but just in order of eye-catchingness, in order of anything, comparing it to the others, I'm like, do you really see merch with this on it? No. You know why? Because it's not that cool of a cover. I mean, it's alright. It's alright as an album cover, I guess, but, like, they did so much better. Like, it's just, I'm sorry, it's okay. I don't hate it. I don't dislike it, but if we are having to put them in a ranking, something has to rank low, you know? And I was on the fence between that one and Beatles for Sale. But honestly, this one I was like, when I was going back and forth, going eeny, meeny, miny, mo between them, my dad's like, what catches your eye more? This guy. Which one do you have a shirt of? This one. So, it gets to be a space higher, even though I initially almost put it lower, only because of the graininess of the photo that I don't feel like picks up on camera, but feel free to Google that album cover if you're not that familiar with it. But, nah, I ended up putting it up one peg. But again, I don't dislike any of the covers. It's just, to do a ranking, some of them have to be lower. So the next position will probably shake a lot of people that I put it this low. And I'm sure this is one of the ones that a lot of people would disagree with me on and place high on theirs, and that's okay. But for me, this is going next, let it be. And it kills me because my beautiful long-haired boy Ringo is on here. But then I look at the other three and I'm like, oh, like, As a small child, Beardy Paul scared the crap out of me, both with his beard and the blood-red background. Just, nope, and that on the ominous black background. Like, I remember being in kindergarten and being freaked out by this damn cover. Like, if I had done the same ranking back then, I probably would have put this in last place, but it's moved up a couple of pegs since then, but... So there's that with Paul. John looks like he hasn't bathed in about a month, and let's be real, he probably hadn't. And I guess George is fine, but I'm sorry, Ringo. I'm sorry I can't rank this higher, because you're beautiful on it anyway. But, yeah, that's the next one. So moving up a peg from there, it pains me to have had to, by default, put this as low as it came in, because I actually think this is a really cool cover, and this is one of the ones that I kept swapping back and forth with a different one. So it's with the Beatles, or Meet the Beatles if you go with the US one, but I really like that cover. I find it very iconic, but I mean, just having to rank that, this one and the next one in particular, I was really going eeny, meeny, miny, moe with, but yeah, I don't know. Because the next one, and a lot of people are going to kill me for this one, is Revolver. But, I don't know, like I said, I kept flipping them back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth, and just, I don't know, having an existential crisis over it. Doing this list was a lot harder for me than it probably should have been. A lot of people could probably just sit down and go bum 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 and be done with it. I sat there for an hour and a half. It was just like when I had to rank the albums themselves. Like, I sat there deliberating for a good long time over this and kept waffling on a lot of them. And if it were a different day, I'd probably rank these differently even than just based on my mood. But for yesterday, how I ranked them in, yeah, this is the order. So, yeah, I know some people are probably shook that Revolver didn't come in higher, but I don't know. As cool as it is, and I appreciate the artwork, and I think it's really unique and cool, there are aspects of it that I find a bit creepy, like especially the way they did George's face. There's something just off-putting about it to me. There's various aspects of it that I find off-putting, and that's why it's very, like, middle of the scale of ranking for me. So, the next couple, I basically had an existential crisis having to place them in the middle of this list rather than at the top, because for the albums themselves, they were like way up at the top, but I kept having to remind myself, you're not ranking the albums, Jen, you're ranking the covers. You are doing nothing but the covers alone here. So next is Rubber Soul, and it just kills my soul to have to have put it down as low as this. I mean, looking at what comes next, there's so much cooler that comes up after it that I was like, I can't believe that I'm placing this as low as I am, but it is still above Revolver, so neener. But, yeah, I do find it a very cool cover. I love the cover, but the other ones I love more. So just above it, and again, I was going back and forth with them, is Help. Because of course it is. There's some of you who are probably shocked that I didn't place this at number 1, honestly. And there's probably some of you that are shocked that the next one came in before this one. But again, I'm going on album covers alone and on no other factors but just that album cover artwork. So after that, I place A Hard Day's Night because it deserves to be high up on the list. Like, now we're getting into the ones where every single one of these is really cool, is really interesting, really iconic, really eye-catching, everything about them. Like, all of them are good. And having to decide what order this handful went in. Oh my god, this is where it got really, really difficult. Like, as hard as the worst end was. The top end was the hardest for me to have to place in a ranked order. Like, oh my gosh! So, next above A Hard Day's Night, I would put Abbey Road. I mean, again, so iconic. Some people that aren't fans, like, they think the Beatles, this is the only thing they think of, is this image right here. So, I mean, for some people, this would probably be number 1. but I put a few above it. But this is still a really cool cover, and one that I really like a lot. Everything about the composition of it, the balance, everything with it, I really like. But the next one's up, I mean, it is no secret that I am very partial to psychedelia and pop art, so the top 3 for me. Yeah, it came as no shock to anyone, I'm sure, that these were the 3 I placed at the top for how I'm ranking the album covers. So in 3rd place is Magical Mystery Tour, because it's just so bright and colorful and sparkly, and it just, oh my god, it's so cool! Honestly, if it were their Beatles selves instead of their I Am the Walrus selves, this potentially could have been number 1 for me. The only reason it's not is because they're in the costumes, but there's even something just cool about seeing them in those costumes that still ranks it way high on here, but just the overall aesthetic of this, just, I love it so much, and I can't believe so many people rank this one as low as they do, but I freaking love it. Just so many things I have bought over the years, I have bought because they had a similar vibe and aesthetic to different aspects of this cover, like that star mug you guys see me use all the time on this channel, I bought solely, well, I didn't buy it, but I picked it out. My grandparents bought a bunch of mugs for Halloween one year, filled them with candy, and told us to pick which ones we wanted, and I picked that one because the stars on it reminded me of the Magical Mystery Tour stars. I've picked out a great deal of things over the years that I felt had the same kind of rainbow design, or had the similar font. I've picked out things that have had very similar cloud, like just, I love this cover so damn much, and honestly the album too, really. Like, I don't think it gets nearly enough love. I really hope that they do end up doing, like, a super deluxe version of Magical Mystery Tour. I know that it's probably lower on the list for some people, but for me it's one of my favorites, so I would love that if that happened. But, again, today we're just here to rank the album covers. I'm babbling. Let's move on to number 2. And this is where I was in gridlock with myself of what's going to be number 2 and what's going to be number 1. And I kept flipping them back and forth. Oh my god. Oh my god. It hurts my soul to have to pick. It's like choosing a favorite child. You don't do that because you love all of them. That's how I feel about doing these ranked lists. I'm like, how do I place them in a favorites order when I love all of them? So number 2 for me is Yellow Submarine. Honest and truly. I freaking love this. If it were just, like, a little bit more vibrant and a little bit more going on, it probably would be number 1. But because of all the white space and all, like, the negative space here and the negative space down here, only reason that it didn't make number 1 for me. Because freaking, I love Yellow Sub. Like, I know that, like, A Beautiful Life gets that title of, like, the ultimate Yellow Sub lover. I'm like, you know, if I showed you guys my Yellow Submarine collection, it puts hers to shame. I've just never filmed it because I'm so damn scared after, you know, we already had one home break-in in our old house. I don't want to put that shit out there to potentially happen in a second one, you know? So it's the only reason I haven't, but I actually have more stuff than she does. I freaking love Yellow Sub. It's one of my favorite Beatle things there is. Everything about it, the whole aesthetic of the film, just, I freaking love it. But then again, those of you who follow me know that I love animation in general, so of course the animated Beatle film is going to rank high for me, but it's not just animated, it's psychedelic. It's not just psychedelic, but there's a lot of watercolor aesthetic used in the back, which is everything about it. Like, what is there not to love for me specifically? Like, just every damn thing ticks all of the boxes for me. I get that it's not everybody's cup of tea, and that is okay. But for me, yeah, this is number 2 in terms of the Beatle album covers, and if I were inclined to get a tattoo, when I was 14, I legit wanted the Yellow Sub right here on my chest. In hindsight, I'm glad I did not do that. I'm glad I have not gotten any tattoos, because I don't think they would look good on me, but that was honestly the first one I ever fell in love with that I thought I wanted. If I were gonna do it now, I'd probably get it as a tramp stamp, full on disclosure. But I'm just not a tattoos person, so it's probably not ever going to happen. But in a hypothetical world, if I were going to, I would probably do that. So number one, because of course it is, you all knew going into this list it would probably be number one, because I think for a lot of people it is number one, is Sgt. Pepper, because of course it is. Do I even need to explain? I don't think I do. This is number one. This is number one. I think for most people it probably is, or is at least very close to it if it's not number one for them. So it was fun compiling this list, but also so stressful for no good damn reason. Like, it did not need to be the stressful thing I turned it into, but anytime I have to rank my favorites of anything, it always turns into a way more stressful thing than it should be, because I'm like, I'm that person who, I can't make up my mind. I'm undecisive on everything in life. Like, we know this. We know this, so... Anyway, but yeah, I would like to hear the order you guys would place them in as well, be it least favorite to favorite or favorite to least favorite, but disclose which order you're putting them in so I don't get confused. But yeah, leave it all down below in the comments if you want to take part in this too, or if you've done a video already, link me to it in the comments, or tell me to go look for it, whichever. So anyway, that is it for this one, guys. So as usual, you know what to do. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe. Hit that notification bell icon so you never miss an upload. Leave comments down below. Make sure you're following my social media accounts, my Facebook fan page, my Twitter, my Instagram, my eBay, my Reddits, everything and more. It's all down below. And if you like what I do here on this channel, you'd like to help support it, the donation link as always is down in the description. Anyway, guys, till next time, see ya.